How's it going, Stacks? This is MTG Resident Teddy here with, state your name, sir, please.
Name's Robert, former competitor at one point with my good old-fashioned Dragunity.
What tournament did you win, sir?
So I believe it was the 4th tournament.
First place, 4th tournament. Deck profile for the Grand Championship. Go ahead, start your deck profile when you can.
So, a lot of things since then. So, starting off, we'll have 1, 2, 3 Dragunity Remus. Remus, it's been pretty solid for the deck all around. Like, the newer combo, it just does what it needs to go into an easy Gaydurg without using up the normal summon. One of their critical faults. So, from there, we got 1 Legatus. Everybody wants 3 and at minimum 2. It's like, I've only ever seen 1, and the rest of them are always either in the deck or just never show. Like, it's just one thing or another. So Legatus usually tends to be the better at 1 for me. Got 2 Phallics, and I'll explain on that one. Phallics, if they remove 1, I at least have a backup. And it happens. I mean, Call by the Grave and a couple of other decks that have the Banish, it makes sense to at least have 2 as a backup at that point. 1, 2 Ducks. I know people prefer Senatus. I don't even run the Senatus. Ducks has always been my favorite, hence why I got the 2 Phallics and all that. It's always just that synchro climb that every Dragunity deck can do in the worst case scenario. 2 Dragunity Arma Masillivan. A lot of people are trying to run 1. I prefer 2 in case it gets banished for the same reasons of Phallics and such. Like, anything your opponent does, if it banishes it out and you only have the 1, you lose out on a whole combo for the deck. From there, 1 Dragunity Armagram. I actually really love this card. Mid to late game, this card is always going to keep coming back and forth, and it's just removing the stuff you don't need. Like, Armagram always puts in the work and always gets me what I need at that point. Mist Valley Baby Rock. With Gaydurg, you get an easy synchro level 8, either Crystal Wing, Borreload Savage. Like, it just really works out really well. So it justifies itself at that point. 1 Blackwing Zephyros. Zephyros is just another niche where he's a wing beast and an easy unofficial Dragunity target. Bouncing Ravine or your Redum that's a 0/0, it always does something for you to get an added bonus and a plus of a summon. Red Eyes Darkness Metal, even with the errata change, you're only going to use it the once for the single turn, but it always niche for that one time that you get the use. So it always has its function no matter what the case. Tempest, the only Dragon Ruler that is not in the ban list anymore, is actually at 1, which is funny to me. Like, Fire, Earth, and Water you're not really going to use. Tempest is the wind one that actually has a lot of deck functions for most decks in general. Kyokamiro Drago, this one was a spotlight at the previous tournament. This card just was niche. Like, against meta decks, lights and darks, it always has an answer. Then with Heraldic Seal of the Heavenly Spears, it really does come out as a 0/0, but as a static to be able to not summon lights and darks to both players. Double Drolin Lock. Right now, everybody searches from the deck. It's not even a question. So it's like, for me, I'd rather have main deck both, just because I know whether I draw it or not, it's going to have its function one way or another.
Give me a moment. I don't know where the fuck this thing decided to move, but okay. There we go. Go ahead. Continue, sir.
Awesome, awesome. So now we're at 2 Ghost Ogres. I'd rather pop a card than essentially, like, try to negate with, like, Ash. Not to mention, too, some cards it'll pseudo-negate in the sense where once it pops it, it's not there to complete its effect, which is usually more on the spell and trap side. Monster effects will usually go through, unless stated otherwise. But magics and traps, when they try to complete an effect, this card will prevent it. 1 Nib in the main deck. Nib just really always... Everybody hits the 5th summon. It's not even a question for most decks. And it's one of those things that could usually go around most things at that point. So the Wind Kaiju, Dusk Kaiju, I should say, this card, it's like anything that's on your opponent's board that's a monster that's just there, that's either controlling you, causing statics, whatever the case may be, this card can be the thing that gets you out of most situations. And it's the Wind variants because of the Wind deck that I run and such. Going on to Magics and Traps. 3 Dragon's Ravine.
Spells, sir. Spells.
Okay, spells and traps. My apologies. So, Dragon's Ravine, it's always going to be a niche of Dragunities. Yeah, you got the dragon part where you could just mill out dragons at that point, but adding a hand, Legatus, and a couple other key cards, this card always comes in clutch. 2 Dragunity Glows. Glow pretty much gets you what you need at this point for Dragunities in the sense of the level 5s and higher, or I'm sorry, level 6 and higher at that point. It'll always get you, or sorry, level 5, yeah. it'll get you either Armogram if you already have the Missilivant, or it'll get you the Missilivant. And then from there, while it's engraved, it'll banish itself out, and you'll be able to bring it out to extend your combos pretty much. So all chill. Let's see here. Dragunity Divine Lance. This card, it always comes in clutch. Every time I see it at 2, it comes out too often, but 1 has been more than viable. It's that little extender whether you're getting another tuner from the deck to the board or just whatever else you may need. And the added bonus of unaffected by traps to whatever it's equipped to makes a difference. Ready Fusion, just as an extender again, because I have the 1 fusion in my extra deck just to be able to bring it out and go combo off of at that point. Instant fusion for the same fusion, so it's like as long as I draw into one of them, I'll be able to get that fusion extender that I need, and then the other one will just be ravine fodder at that point for discarding for abilities. 1 War Legacy Guard Dragon. I used to run 3, and I even had it down to 2 at the moment, but honestly I just need the 1 right now. Like, the deck's pretty far off, and again, it's just an extender after a point. But it's a good extender, just it's only 1 that's really needed at the moment. Dark Ruler No More. This card's been really solid against most of the meta. Making everything vanilla for a single turn can net you a win in the most bad situations that you could be in and such. Regeki, not even a question, it's a board break. Sure, opponents may have stuff that can't be destroyed by card effects, but it's not always the case. Regeki usually clears something off in the worst case scenario. Gold Sark, always into Tempest, and then I get my Remus to my hand, or whatever other Wind Dragon that I may need. Like, Gold Sark is just that net with Remus that's an auto search at that point. Foolish, if I'm going to either do Zephyros, Tempest, Armogram, something that needs to be in the grave that I need at the time of, Foolish always nets it for me. Harpy's Feather Duster, I mean, it's like a lot of people do back row decently now between Infinite Impertinence to lock down a column or other cards in general. You'll always see at least 2 cards in the back row, and it's going to be that one thing that could clear it in the worst case scenario. Monster Reborn, I mean, that's an extra summon, and this deck always puts so much into the grave. I'm usually always having a target. Even with Call by the Grave and all that can happen, it's like, it's one of those just in cases. Double Infinite Impertinence, this card is just too good. It's like, it's a stronger Veiler, and at
Staple.
the end, you could, yeah, it truly is a staple, because you could either have it on the board to lock down a column, or in the open first turns, it's like, it could be able to net you something. Evenly matched. I run 1. I don't feel the 2 is needed in the main deck. 1 is in the side. So it's like, it works out really well enough. Like, especially in the open game, you draw it and you're able to just go to battle phase. Yeah, you lose a battle phase, so you're not going to be able to do battle damage, but at the same time, you're going to be clearing probably a pretty strong board that your opponent sets up.
That's it for the main deck. Alright, you want to just speed through the side deck? So that way,
Yes,
you know. No worries, don't worry. Yeah, extra deck. Thank you.
So, okay, so starting off, we got Crystal Wing.
Crystal Wing goes straight to side.
Practically. So we got 2 Crystal Wings. It's not even a question why.
Why?
One. It's just because it's pretty much an unofficial Dragunity. And then, speaking of unofficial Dragunity, we got Borlord Savage. Between him getting Romulus, he's always going to be able to be at least 36 beater with 2 counters on him. Dragunity Knight Gaydur, been pretty good so far, goes into an 8 and gets you your searches. In the first turn, if everything goes well, it could get you like 3 searches. 2 Dragunity Knight Valdrianus, it's the original Synchro 8 climb, and it's still there. It still does what it really needed to do for the most part. Just for beefiness, Gaybold, Dragunity Knight Gaybold, I can remove Wing Beast in the grave and it pumps itself up. Like, those little battle confrontations can be mean winning and losing at that point. Hardic Dragging a King of a Tomb is part of the main combo, gets you Redum or something else, like all around could be chill. Hardic Seal of the Heavenly Spears, 2 of them at that, it's like, this card's been just so niche. Like, tributing into a Drago on your opponent's turn, it's like, you could pretty much shut them down in the worst case on most decks. 2 Dragunity Knight Romuluses, been really good, been really solid. It's literally a main card, so that way you could search you for your Dragunity spells, or Dragons Ravine in the worst case. Borlord Dragon and Boral Sword Dragon. Both these cards are Link 4s. It's kind of like, depending on the situation, whatever I'm dealing with, it will determine which one's more needed, but both of them always make a point.
Useful.
And then as for my target for Ready Fusion to Insta Fusion, Mavelus, it's a classic. It's one of the older fusion cards. And because it's a 4-star Winged Beast, it either will be used for Romulus or actually into a Synchro and all that.
Yeah, that's perfect. Alright. So this was your Fourth place
Yeah.
winner for the stacks. We don't do sad because it's more of a secret tech for you.